The days that you had to,
Oh, it says, okay, got it. We don't have what?
okay, there it is, it showed up.
I can't even get logged in, so.
Either. And we have a full copy of everything.
Oh,
Yes.
it's good.
Okay, there it is, showed up.
I can't even get logged in, so.
And we have a full copy of everything.
Oh,
Yes.
we need to mute that.
Okay. I'm hearing you. Here, he's typing. There you go.
Yeah, that's the one that was here. It's got one. Thank you, Paul. Any more additions? If none being, we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll approve the agenda as amended.
A second? Second. Moved by Councilwoman Hartley, second by Councilman Stetler. To approve the agenda as amended. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, both same. Motion passed, but only affirmative. Do we have any communications from citizens? No, okay. None being, consent agenda. Can I motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move we approve the consent agenda.
Been moved by Councilman Stedler to approve the consent agenda. Do we,
I'll second it.
I've been seconded by Councilman Harkey. Discussion. Any discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed the same. Motion passed, all affirmative. Public hearing, liquor license renewal, number one, Lucky Five.
I'll make the motion.
Been moved by Councilman Harkey that we approve liquor license renewal, number one for the Lucky Five. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Statler. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same. Motion passed, all affirmative. Fast lane liquor license renewal.
I'll make that.
Been moved by Councilwoman McCarthy. Can I have a second?
Second.
Been second by Councilman Stedler. Any discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. The approval of fast lane. Aye. Opposed the same. Motion passed, all the affirmative. Appearances by citizens, Wyoming.com, please. Please come up, introduce yourself.
Thank you. So I'm Jennifer Kinsler and I'm the sales and marketing manager for Wyoming.com. And kind of have a few things prepared, but wanted to go over that with you. What we're asking for is if we could potentially hang some gear on Water Tank Hill, the tower up there, and benefit the community by providing more internet around the town of Shoshoni. And I know you're all waiting for fiber. That's the big thing coming into town. We are as well. But until that happens, we would like to fill the gap for really being able to provide more internet. And there's some areas that we can't cover with our current tower, which is on the fire department. And it's not tall enough. And that would just give us that height and a little bit better visibility to get into town. So Wyoming.com has been long established in Fremont County. This is our 30th year. We've been in Riverton, that's our headquarters. So we're having our 30th anniversary this year. We're committed to Fremont County and we would like to expand our services in Shoshoni, and being local means that our support is better, our response time, if a dispatch is needed, is better. We employ staff locally. We have 3 employees who actually live here in Shoshoni that work for us, which is great. We currently serve residents and businesses in the town of Shoshoni as well as in the outlying areas. So I know that a lot of the current provider is able to get service right in town, but the outlying areas are where it's challenging, and we can fill in that void. We're interested in, again, getting permission from the town to put our gear on Water Tank Hill. The cost of this installation at the tower site would be completely our responsibility and paid for by Wyoming.com. We're not asking for anything other than access through right of way and just a little bit of power, basically like the light bulb, I guess, right? There are an estimated 375 currently unserved in the proposed coverage area that Brandon's holding. We have this is our current coverage, and then the bottom would be the expanded coverage. So it covers quite a bit more just from adding that height. We also have included coverage for the new housing development that you're planning on, just so that we can cover that in the meantime while you're waiting for fiber services to come in. And I think you're breaking ground spring, if I'm not mistaken,
Right.
coming up
Probably next spring.
next spring. Okay, my misunderstanding. We'll be ready. Our residential pricing for internet is very affordable. It's starts at $50 a month for our lowest internet of 50 megs, which is normally plenty for a family of 4. It's also for about $40 a month lower than the competitors here. $90 a month, we offer 100 meg internet, and then provided we're able to put this new gear up, we will also be able to provide 200 megs, which is great for both business and residential customers. And that would be $130 a month. So it's very affordable. And then we also offer a 10% discount for veterans and first responders. As far as community partnership, we're looking at places to throw in conduit in the ground while the ground is open, like for construction projects that are already being worked on, such as the housing development. And at least until fiber gets here, with that conduit being put into place, which we would be happy to put in, then all we, make it easier to feed in fiber without having to dig the ground up again. So anyways, we're interested in partnering with the town. I'm sure you all know how important internet is to everybody for a variety of reasons, healthcare and working remote and all of those things that people need internet for. So.
Our problem is BLM.
Okay.
They have not been able to find our original contract. They found some stuff dated back to 1916. Looking through my last conversation between the lady I'm dealing with and her schedule, my schedule gets there. We're trying to get me over there, and she's going to show me, but she hadn't. Last I knew, she had not been able to find. We cannot be able to find in our archives the contract. So that's why I reached out to BLM to see what, and I basically discussed what you would like to do there. And so we're just trying to sort that out. I've been out of the loop for a little bit. I just had a new knee installed. So this is a doctor just released me back to the wild again. So it can't come to a meeting. But anyway, it's but that's where we are at on that.
Okay.
I think it's a very worthwhile. It's been a while since we last communicated, but I just haven't had a chance. And then I had knee replaced 3 weeks ago. So they kept me. They wouldn't even let me come to town hall. The last council meeting I missed because they didn't want me in the public because of infection. I don't know who I was going to infect. I didn't know.
Yourself, probably.
But any event, but that's but that's where I'm standing with them. I thought that'd be I thought we could find ours. We could not.
Yeah.
We find our other contracts with them. When we have a shooting range, or we have easement stuff for our water wells, water lines, or we have even with the directly all the way out, we got a easement all the way from the lake. That's where they originally got the water before the water wells.
Okay, so you fully support it as long as they can find the contract?
Yes, I think it's a great thing. I want to improve the internet for our citizens.
Especially at no cost
Yeah,
to the
I
town.
mean, zero. Yeah, we
Yeah.
would do
whatever a
everything.
light bulb would cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
And then we could trade for that for service for,
Okay.
you know, a senior center or something that the city pays for.
Right.
We would be happy to do that as well.
What's
to
the
cover
red?
The hot
So-
bot.
So you got red, orange, you,
Yeah, so it's literally the strength of the signal. So the problem with, so I'm Brandon Shires, I'm engineering manager and the senior RF engineer for Wyoming.com. It makes it look like we cover literally everything between Water Tank Hill and past the outskirts of town, and that's theoretical. So what we do when we decide we're going to hang an AP is we will run our theoretical propagation, which this represents. And then after we install the APs, we actually go out, we pick test points in that coverage to validate it. RF and trees do not go very well together. RF and buildings do not go well together. So what we've started doing, and we've done a lot of this, not only in Fremont County, but across the state the last year and a half, is we have developed a standardized micropop system. So if we have an area that we need to cover that shows up in this area, the original heat map, but it doesn't prove out when we do the actual real world testing. Within usually 2 weeks or a month, we can, if we find a location, we can throw a rooftop mount on. We can have another set of APs up and going live for customers. We've probably put in 15 to 20 micropops in Fremont County over the last year. We're currently working on one with St. Margaret's School in Riverton to get some coverage down there in a real tree prone area. We happen to have fiber infrastructure there to backhaul it to. But we know from Water Tank Hill, we can backhaul to our existing tower. Last year, we upgraded our internet infrastructure in Shoshoni to offer our 50 and 100 meg packages. And we upgraded our backhaul infrastructure into here about 25 times over what it was prior, all on our own dime. So that was licensed gear. I'm actually working with some companies to actually get fiber into Shoshoni that we can tie into and get a direct internet pipe. I'm still working through the numbers. They're doing an engineering study for the long haul piece of it, but once that's done, we would fully plan on adding probably a 10 gig circuit here in town to haul traffic out to the internet. Nice thing about that is if that goes down, we have the microwave that we've already installed back to Riverton that will serve as a backup. You may have reduced speeds, but it wouldn't be a total service outage. You know, and to chime in and just reiterate what Jen said, when you guys break ground, or if you are breaking ground in areas of town, we'd love to work with you and see what we can do to get conduit in the ground. And then later on, when we can do a full scale design for fiber in town, all we have to do is go back, blow the fiber. We don't have to disturb the ground, tie it in, splice it, light it up, and start installing folks. You know, for that, we need access to right of ways, public utility stations, anything like that that the city might have that they'd be willing to partner with us on or work with us on. I believe your power company over here is Rocky Mountain Power. Is that correct?
that's correct.
I mean, we do have an agreement with them in Riverton for pole permitting to run fiber on that. We could certainly look at what that would take to expand over here to get access to the poles. You know, and we've applied for a number of grants, trying to better rural internet in the counties. And unfortunately, we've lost everyone out, but there is going to be a large amount of federal funding coming. That's going to be released a little bit later this year.
I'm just gonna bring that up. Yeah.
That is, and they've been rewriting their rules and tweaking them a bit before the final determination, but they're going to start putting heavy preference on unserved areas, which almost all of the town of Shoshoni and the surrounding areas are considered unserved, as at least as far as the last FCC broadband filing that the providers are expected to do if they want to participate in this funding. But you know, I mean, we have been working on it. We've just unfortunately lost out on everyone. The state had a little bit of money here earlier this year, late last year, but they put high preference because it was such a small pile of money on matching funds. So Spectrum ended up getting quite a bit of rural internet over in Hudson to build out, and Lander, because they could match millions, if not, maybe a quarter to a half of what they were asking the state for total. And just like Shoshoni is a smaller community here in the state, we're a small company. We're primarily self-funded. We do want to go after the grant money where it makes sense for everybody. And going into BEAD, we'd love to partner with the city, get statements of support to help further our cause, to actually get that fiber and start working on it. It is a slower build out process due to the permitting right away and some items like that we don't have those constraints on wireless. But the more community support that we can get geared up when we go apply for that, the federal government will put preference on that as well. So we'd love to partner with actually the town council and the citizens of Shoshoni to see if we can get fiber in here, because with the trees long-term, fiber makes more sense than wireless does. Absolutely. I mean, wireless has its place, fiber has its place. A lot of times those can meet up and kind of mesh and overlap on each other. But we'd love to partner with you folks and see what we can do about getting Shoshoni brought up internet-wise into this century.
Yeah,
I
we'd
don't know
love
that it's
to.
that bad, but
What, you said you want their water, on the water tank or just the hill itself?
The hill itself, I think.
So it would be not be attached to the tank in any way?
we don't know that yet. I mean, we could work with the city on that. I mean, we do have options. We've mounted on water tanks before. Believe it or not, there are companies that make magnetic mounts that will just magnet right up to the side of a metal structure, and it'll hold a 2, 3, 4 foot dish with no sway whatsoever and no structural degradation to that unit that it's actually attached to. But maybe setting a small pole on the hill, setting it in some concrete. I mean, we haven't done the final engineering on that, but we're small and nimble enough. We have options where we can generally make something work that will be agreeable to all parties involved. And I mean, being on the water tank is an absolute, we don't want to do that. We can look at other options. So I actually drove up there, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago just to kind of scope it out. So
You made it up. Gate was open.
didn't make it up all the way, but got close enough to get kind of an idea what we were working with. We were able to get around the back side of it and see up there to
Okay.
get a pretty decent idea of what we were working with.
We should have a project this summer redoing the road.
Well, and access isn't a problem for us. We have a tracked UTV that can get about anywhere when it's bad. We have a 60-foot and a 40-foot bucket truck if needed. So we have all that and own that in-house. So
And we can build towers. We build them all over the United States as well, but it's just, the implications of building a tower is more costly, and it's also might not be something that BLM wants up there. So
Sure.
the height of the hill is really ideal.
Yeah, we gotta go through them. They won't even allow us to put up a light bulb on our shooting range. That's BLM.
Yeah, no, they're fun.
But in any event, but she did it took a while to get her where she was in there, but she did search, but she found some old documents, but she couldn't find nothing there. And we're gonna try to get together for her schedule, my schedule. We're gonna amend, hopefully we'll do that in the next week or two.
Okay,
I've sort of been derailed here for a little bit,
okay.
but in any event, but she was looking.
Okay. All right, that's all we can ask.
Yeah.
So you'll keep us posted then.
Yes, I will.
Okay. perfect.
Appreciate you coming over.
Thank you
today.
very much for listening to us. We're
Yes.
excited to get that ball rolling. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Just a little background, we've been sort of kicking this around for several months. So she reached out and said, would you like to have some better internet service? I said, yeah. So anyway. Move on to resolution 24-002. You want to read this for me, Kim, or do you want me to read it?
Christopher,
I got it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So this is the, just the, this is the resolution for the USDA rural development, grant for the water PER on the subdivision, the, 2024-002. Be it resolved that the governing board of this association be and it hereby is authorized and empowered to take all actions necessary or appropriate. Number one, to obtain for and on behalf of the association through the United States Department of Agricultural, USDA, or any other governmental agency, A, a loan in the sum not to exceed $0. B, a grant in the sum not to exceed $30,000 to be advanced by the lender or grantor in one or more advances at such time or times as may be agreed upon. Number two, in the case of a loan or grant or both, for the execution of such application or applications including exhibits, amendments, and or supplements thereto as may be required. B, for the execution and delivery to the lender or grantor of all such written instruments as may be required in regard to as evidence of such loan or grant. And C, in its judgment to carry out the terms of this resolution. Number three, and in a case of a loan, to obligate this association for the repayment of the loan at such rates of interest and on such other terms and conditions as the governing board shall deem proper. B, to pledge, hypocate, mortgage, convey, or sign property of this association of any kind in any amount now owned or hereafter required as security for any and all obligations, past, present, or future of this association, such lender. And C, from time to time, pay, extend, or renew any such obligations. So this is a resolution that was written by the USDA that we have to consider as written by the USDA. So that's kind of why they use the word association. If there's any confusion, that's referring to the governing body.
This is a grant they've awarded us for up to $30,000 for PER. If the PER exceeds $30,000, that's all on the town's nickel.
And it's a 100% grant up to 30,000. So there's no match with this grant.
I move we approve resolution 24-002.
Second it.
Been moved by Councilman Stetler, seconded by Councilman Hartree, that we approve resolution 24-002 as read. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed the same. Action passed, all in the affirmative. New business, Tim Nichols will not be able to be here. He has to be scheduled at our next meeting with WRTA. B streets. Bob, did you have something you wanted to bring?
Yeah, I'm looking at our budget and stuff. We have $10,000 in streets. I've talked to some people, and one is that 3rd Street here in front of Town Hall in Idaho. There's a massive amount of trucks on it. Are those streets designed for that weight? And my answer is no. I mean, they were designed for school buses, but not for, tankers and pubs on them.
Agreed.
So we need to look at it, start looking down the road for a proactive saying, we need to start putting money away to take for the care of these streets, because eventually there'll just be potholes that we like to cross from the old library. So that's one idea, is to, we need to look down the road for that. The other part is 3rd Street in front of the old library. What about rotor tilling all that up and just putting a road base back on it. The stuff
Be a lot better than we got now.
Yeah, it's all potholes.
Agreed.
And the other part is like California and all the other streets are paved. Once upon a time, somebody came through and blew out all the cracks and filled them with tar. I'm looking at saying, no, we're not doing that maintenance. And we need to be doing that maintenance on those streets.
Agreed.
So was that something we need to look at it for upcoming budget and decide, I mean, look at our parking lot out here, it's
Sure.
has that same need.
Right.
And we're not doing that, looking that far down the road as preventive maintenance. We've done a good job with the police department on cars, this building, but we need to look, expand other parts of town and say, we need to fix these, and maintain them as much as we can.
Talked a little bit with Dave's Asphalt about some of that.
Well,
Yeah,
on the patching of the streets on with filling them up. The guy that was supposed to been here last year, he never got back hold of me again. He was up over in Warren, I think. But then he was supposed to come this way, but he never reached out again after the last time I talked to him. So he was gonna see how much it was gonna cost to seal them streets.
okay,
Do some streets. And I'll reach out to him again, see where he's at,
thank
and if
you.
he'll be there this year. or not. Okay,
Those are some things,
No, good points, all of them.
that's all I have on streets, just to look at
What
down.
about the trees? We have a lot of trees that are in the power lines now. Especially over on Oak.
See, my question, don't we have an agreement with the power company that they come in and cut them?
Even in the alleys.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah, they line clear.
yeah,
Power
they
company has
do
to
them all.
that's theirs.
So what do we do?
Call them.
Call them? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
they've always been pretty proactive, but yeah, when we're getting behind, we ought to call them, but they've been in the past, you know, they came by my house and cut them.
California, because it was all underground, but now it's all on.
They pretty much butcher them, but they're responsible for lining.
I think a
Right.
lot of them are dead anyway.
Well, so they won't remove, so
But
she's
they would
right,
take them out of the power lines though, wouldn't they?
right, they'll cut, usually it's a V cut or
Right.
Mhm.
something ugly that just says, we don't
Yeah.
get away from the power line. But he's right, and sometimes they get subcontracted out, so Trees Inc. has a national contract, and they'll
Uh-huh.
be distributed to smaller communities, but yes, they will. We can't, they won't let people. do
Used to
it.
be a guy out of Pavilion, last one I seen in here doing them. I forget his name, I think Pavilion or over in that area.
I thought it was Wright who done it a few years ago.
Right,
Yeah,
I think
right.
Wright did the stuff over on by B&K-ish in that last year.
Yeah.
Okay,
Chad from Whiteout might have further information as far as,
So we had to have the power company. And they're living up there. We just called them up and said, hey, there's trees in the power lines, and they came and cleared them. And
That's all you have to do.
yeah,
they didn't haul them off. But
Huh?
they were supposed to. We had it in writing from them. They said they would, but they never did. Won't mention that again.
so. That should be hopefully an easy fix.
Should be. They
Yeah, I didn't, they came to my place, several times. Yeah, every 8-10 years or something, they show up. Sherman. Maybe it's a little more.
just enough to keep it clear for their service,
Right.
but safe that way.
And I think Mike's also looking at, I've seen, been out doing some road work. And I think they're evaluating what we can get done. But yeah, that good point on California. Between third and second.
yeah, there's
Yeah,
Dodgeball
right.
too, coming up that hill.
And then Third Street here.
Yes,
We're seeing a lot of traffic that, yeah, these roads were not designed for. Correct.
That's just the budget, upcoming budget item we need to
Yes,
put away.
yes, we do.
I don't know if we want to put it in, star account. And save streets maintenance, something like that. That's one place we can start putting money for it.
It's, we'll look at that a lot closer. Yeah. Very good point. Wyoming Outdoor Recreational Grant. Please. Step up, introduce yourself, Mark.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Town Council. I'm Mark Nordine. I got an email from Joel on Monday last week and said, "Hey, Mark, there's this outdoor recreation grant that we might want to consider." Why me? I'm part of the Shoshoni Town Rifle Range Committee, and so Julie and then Ken are on the committee as well, and they're also a part of the club. So together, we've been trying to come up with ideas for what we could apply for the grant. So we met, and it was decided. And Ken, Ken is kind of a steel trap when it comes to things. He's got this master plan for the range in his head, and he said we need to do surface. We need to do the surface for not only for the parking area, but also for the ranges themselves. And so we decided, well, that's kind of what we should do. So today we met with a local contractor to come in and kind of get their idea. It was, I believe it's Dave's Asphalt, wasn't it? Yeah. So Dave's Asphalt came in and we had this discussion at the range about just what would be the best types of services for the range, because we wanted to get rid of mud. If you've ever been up there after the rain or as the snow begins to melt, there's some spots that can just be nasty muddy. And when you go up there now, you can also see different tracks that are in the mud, from, well, the mud, right? So anyway, the idea of doing something with the parking lot, but then also doing something adjacent to the concrete for both the pistol range and also the rifle range made sense. And so the material that they recommended was RAP, so recycled asphalt product. So anytime they do a job, they bring up the asphalt, they take it, they pile it up, and then they grind it up at a later date. So that's what they're thinking that would be the right thing to do. But there's other things and other ideas. We're gathering that information now. Oh, and the catcher in all this is that this is due Monday. So it's coming up. It's coming up pretty quick. And so why are we here? We just want to let you know what's kind of going on. But then the other thing is that we need the support of the town to be able to do this, because Joel's signature as the mayor and representing the town for the shooting range is what we're requesting to do. Part of the project that we're looking for too is some in-kind sort of support for this. Our chances to get the grant are better if we have something for in-kind. The total cost, just wagging here, is somewhere, according to what information we got from Dave's, is about $100,000. So 20% in a 80-20 sort of split is kind of what we're thinking for the in-kind. And what would that in-kind be? It would be $5,000 from the club, and then hopefully matched by $5,000 from the town. And then the town would also be, when we get the material dumped, it's going to have to be spread out. So the idea would be use a road grader. And so at $240 an hour, $250 an hour a day, or a little bit more, that pretty much gets us right to that $20,000. So we are also asking permission in the grant to be able to use that as our in-kind. So what am I missing here?
This would be in the next fiscal year.
Yeah, so
this would be something not this year.
We're not looking for it tomorrow, but yeah.
In the summer, late summer, something like that.
They asked when would we want to have this done, and it would be this summer. So after July 1st, when the fiscal year starts, that would be a reasonable time to start. So
and seeing the rifle club would be providing other labor out there, supervision,
You know,
shovel.
last time I sent that motor grader out to the range, it didn't go real well.
It wasn't this,
Didn't send a big enough grader.
yeah. Yeah, it wasn't this one.
It was wore out one.
It was the wore out one.
Yeah. So you all can handle that part. Just
But so we don't have an exact number. What Mark has done. He said he's gonna fill out the grant application, do all the paperwork. On it. We are swamped here at the town. We don't have time to do it. So I just reached out if this is something that might work. And so we met Friday afternoon to kick it around, see if it's worth, we think we could do it.
Right.
Ken's input. If there's something we could do that doesn't take a lot of engineering that they need. And this surface was what was come up with. That's to be due to improve it. It's the grants, there's up, and everybody else has got a short window to do this. The grants actually has a upper limit of $500,000. If they would give us 30 days, we could figure out how to spend that probably, maybe,
I'm sure we could.
you know, but we don't, you know, there's very little time to put this together. This is something that's sort of, it's been in the plan somewhere, you know, future, you know, to work on it. So this is something that we could come up without a lot of engineering. And Mark and Joe may even assist you. We're gonna do that, and the rifle club has $5,000 that they'll put towards this to improve the range. What everybody's thoughts? This has sort of been happening fast, so.
So that's what they're asking from us is $5,000 too?
Yeah, they would ask they would like us to match their 5,000 and use of the equipment
Yeah.
as needed to spread, which may also be the little work with the skid steer. I don't know what all it's gonna do, but
Right.
whatever it takes to move the dirt around.
We have an operator. I can't remember Bill. It's Bill's, I believe.
Yes, and he's also helped. I
He's
think,
helped
work
us
our
with the club
guy.
before.
He's also offered to help.
Ken, what's Bill's last name, Julie?
Yeah.
Snap. Yeah.
Mike and I were just balancing thoughts, and one thought I came up with was economic development money as a source of funding for this. But he said we're looking at it for housing instead. So I'm in favor of the idea of this. My question is, I don't know where the money's gonna come from, but at this time.
Sure, and we, you know. We don't, we haven't done our budget,
Right.
so I don't know, if we got 5,000 to budget, that would be the. That'd be sort of committing something that we don't know if we have. But, I don't know.
We have to get the grant too.
Yeah.
So,
We
you know,
may not get the grant, sure.
It's going to fill out the application, get Joel to sign it, and then turn it in, and then frankly, cross our fingers and hope it works. But, you know, it's not a crazy grant. It's a good grant. It really supports our community, supports the county. I mean, so we're trying to come up with how the recreation group would look at this and want to jump on the bandwagon and grant us that money. So that's kind of what we're hoping.
And it won't be budgeted until next fiscal year, right?
So if we
Right,
can
yeah.
find it at the end of this year where we have a little surplus,
If we have.
we
some.
could dedicate it
Yes.
right there, or if not, we could squeak it out or split it $2,500 from this year, $2,500 from next year.
We can always do a bake sale too. I mean, that
That's a
might
lot
work.
of cookies.
Yeah, a lot of cookies.
You don't have to make pancakes.
Up that, and then that's an 80-20 split. That's favorable on that. If it was less, probably get less chance of getting it. That helps, gives us better odds to get that. I'm gonna be talking with Bryn tomorrow and get a little more information on it. Bryn Hirschman, that's who oversees the same as Steel, Trailhead, grant we got, same, coming from the same place.
So my next steps would be get the grant application completed to the best of my ability. Have Julie and Ken look at it, kind of proof it for me, have Joel then look at it as well, since it's used to be his signature and representing the town. And then at that point, we would turn it in and find out if it works. So that's our next steps, all by Monday. All by Monday.
So like, I said, we didn't didn't have enough time to like, go through a bunch of, let's throw this together and see if it would work, but that'd be a big improvement out at our range, which is only own range.
It would be nice not to have to step over puddles. I've taught pistol. So I'm a dean at the college and I teach NRA pistol classes, and we come out to the Shoshoni range. I'm a bit partial now since we just live down the street on California. So anyway, we're coming out here now. And we've had times where we've had to take a 3-foot step to rock from the concrete on the pistol pad to get out of the mud to get to the shooting line, so to not have to do that would just like tickle me to death. So, yeah.
But you need a motion.
Yeah, can I get a motion now to authorize the mayor to sign?
I'll make the motion.
Been moved by Councilwoman Parkey. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Stabler. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed the same. Motion passed on the affirmative. Thanks a lot, Mark.
Thank you very much. I'll do my best. Thank you very much.
You guys do quite a bit out there and I appreciate it.
Yes. Public Works. Mike.
Good evening, Mayor Heisler, council members. Like to report, that Bart has been back at work now for past couple of weeks. And so I have Bart out there blading the roads when his time permits, so doing his daily schedule, trying to patch them up. On this road over here, the one you were talking about by the library, that we can't blade that. That's like it had.
That's why I suggest maybe just milling it down.
Yeah, mill it down, take it out of there, or do
Yeah,
something with it,
because
because it's
it's
got,
potholes.
it's potholed up. We've been looking at it, and we've been looking at that, mill tellings that we had from the road when they repaired this one out here. We had that, but that's stuff kind of solid yet. We'd have to heat it up. And we were thinking about putting it in there, but
We'll just do it when it's 106.
it is hard, man. We have to heat it up though. But, so we've been looking at it, trying to figure out where to try to get the potholes out of there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think just milling it down and blading it, whatever. you
yes,
want.
yeah, well, yeah, we could probably try to blade it out. Bart hit a corner on the end of it. He kind of scraped it pretty good. Like, well, he can probably move it then. So, might be able to try it, do something with it anyway. Mike and Bart, they're back to reading the meters again. It was a little cold yesterday, but they just got out there and did it. So, but it's warming up now. And the sanitary survey for the water system will be done this year. They do them every 3 years. We just got the report in January for the one that was done in 2021, May of 26, 2021. And I'm still working on that one, trying to get I got most of everything cleaned up, and the ones that they did need, the deficiencies that needed to be addressed, I got them addressed. I got to send in the paperwork and pictures and get those things cleared. But there's 2 others or 3 others on that survey that they gave me an extension to do that because of the current rehab we're having. We're gonna fix these pump houses up and that. And we're turning those 2, the well 2 and well number 4. We're gonna be getting those the wells outside of the pump houses. And we'll be putting gaskets in on those. Right now, we replaced the gaskets. It probably costs like 10, 15,000 for me. Bring a person in, lift it up, stop gasket in there, and bolt it back down. But it'd be better if we wait until we rehab these wells. And so, like, I've talked to Matthew Langenfeld about this. See, I talked to him last Wednesday, and so he gave me an extension till September 15th. And I've been out there cleaning up around the well houses and the tank. I'm checking all the ARVs and PRVs and the vents and the drains, making sure that the mesh, the 24 mesh screen is not ripped or torn or anything on it, and replacing them as I find the ones that are messed up. And on the lead and copper inventory that I'm doing, I'm still putting information in that we have that I found in the office for that's on the town side as to what's in the ground. But I don't know what's under the homeowners, what's coming out of the ground, the pipe, what type of pipe it is. So once I get all this and put it on that template, me and Bart will be going around to the houses, looking underneath the houses to see what kind of pipes coming up out of the ground. That's all that EPA wants, to know what's coming up out of the ground. That's as far as we go on this template. I'm not using the template that was I originally had from EPA. HDR had a template that they made, and they took it to EPA, and the EPA approved it so that it can be used by small systems. Because the other one, it'll take a lot of space when I use it, that EPA one. So this one is a lot easier, what I'm using right now. A lot quicker, a lot simpler for me. But I'll have it done by October. That's about all I have. Any questions?
The years past, there was a road sweeper that's swept the paved streets in town. Is there any possibility of getting that again, and getting all the rocks off the side of that asphalt, so the edges of the road, make it a little bit safer?
Give them what?
A sweeper?
A sweeper for the roads.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
sweeper. Yeah.
I mean, I noticed a lot of rocks are getting in the middle of the road and on the edges. And I know they break up the asphalt eventually.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we could do that. Well, I'll look at that tomorrow and have Mike take a look at it and see what we can do.
I don't know where we got it.
We got one.
We got a small.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a
We
small.
got a small sweeper. Right now, Mike's using it he put the mower on it. He's cutting weeds around the lagoons. But he can put this broom back on it.
Okay.
So that's why I said I'll have Mike look at it tomorrow. But we do have a sweeper.
Oh, when he report to you, 2 lights are out. 4th in California and 6th in California for street lights.
Okay. I'll call the power company. I'll give them a call tomorrow. Yes, anything else?
Thank you for your work.
All right, thank you.
You have anything, Tammy, you'd like to talk about?
Well, I knew burning dates. We have a set.
Mike? Burning dates?
Oh, I sent a letter into Jared. I haven't heard back from him yet.
Okay.
Jared Beck from DEQ. But I asked for April 1st to June 1st. So I should have something back maybe by the end of the week.
Last year when we did it, right when it did, we had a big snowstorm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Cause I had a bunch of weeds I was gonna burn. Yeah, I'm not. So we'll probably April 1st get a big storm.
yeah, probably. But I did mail a letter.
Okay,
Thank you.
you bet. Thanks, Mike.
I knew we reported about community gas, went to their meeting, Casper this last week. Current gas supplies are 35% over the last above last 5-year average. Which means for your gas prices, because you're on choice gas, should stay the same or even drop. They'll probably drop off for the 1-year people. You want a 2-year program, they'll say probably stay the same, maybe go up a little bit. There's lots of gas out there. The company that bought my site is starting to shut down their wells, some of their gas wells, because there's so much gas out there on the market. Community Gas gave the town a check for $4,069.88. And since 2004, they've given the town $47,688.33. And so this upcoming sign up period starts on April 4th and runs through April the 24th. So anybody who's on in this area, they call it Casper division, you will be paying, there's 10 gas suppliers. So if you, and 1 distributor, that distributor is Black Hills Energy. It's like, they're like Walmart. And the gas suppliers are the cereal boxes on the shelf. Walmart has their own box of cereal, and it's called Black Hills Energy. And that's a lot of, it's confusing for a lot of people because, you know, I have Black Hills Energy supplying my gas. As a supplier, I buy my gas from them, but I also pay them for the transmission fee. But there will be 10 companies out there. And by law, you're supposed to get, you may receive 1 email and 1 phone call from any gas supplier per week. So that's 10 per week, 20 per week, up for 3 weeks until you make your choice on gas. For Wyoming Community Gas, there's a sign, if you sign up for a 1-year year on their program, you get a $25 gift card from Amazon, Walmart, whatever. If you do it for 2 years, you get a $75 gift card. In order to receive this, though, you must have a valid email address. If you do not choose at all, you are default, but you were not given the price for this year's gas. So there's different ways they charge the gas. They have a fixed rate, like 30 cents per therm. You pay how many therms you use, you pay 30 cents times that. So if you use 50 therms, you pay $15 for the gas you used. If you use 250 therms, it's $75. This does not include the transmission fee, taxes, the added, anything else they add out to it. There's a market index. You play the market, it changes every month. So if it's super cold, you pay a bunch. Summertime, you don't pay anything. And then there's the budget assist, where they take an average of your last 3, however many years you lived in that house, how much gas you've used, and then they make it say you pay $75 a month all year long. And all of these have the taxes and distribution fees and everything else. And so I'm asking Kim to put all this stuff in the town newsletter, so people will have that information to decide. That's.
Bob, they still have the option to sign up here at town hall and get a discount?
Yes.
Because if you sign up here in town hall
As a group.
The Shoshoni group, if you sign up here, you get an additional discount.
Now, we don't know what price that our group would get on a given day. It depends on the market. Could be one day could be 30 cents, next day be 33 cents, or drop down to 29. So whenever Kim decides to put in her numbers, next day could be cheaper or more expensive. But that's an option.
And community gas, they give back to the communities.
Yeah.
And we used a lot of that money for our parks and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
For
pretty,
this-
pretty good for us.
Rival Club, they gave out $10,000 in grants to nonprofits throughout the state. Fire departments asked for it, food banks, someplace, Riverton or Orlando, the mental health place picked up $4,000 for tables and stuff, chairs for when they go to events. I'm not sure what, I was on the committee, but they had everything redacted for who they were, where they were from, but something you guys may look at down the road and say, hey, do we want to apply for this grant? There's 16, 17 different entities asking for money. And so the most they gave out was $5,000. But it'd be something you can look at, you know, tell her what you're doing, why and how. It's another possibility. Look at money, as they do it every year.
Thanks, that's good. Mike, anything you'd like to talk about?
I was asked about. Commercial water bills. And for apartment complexes. If that is. I don't understand, I probably should have asked prior to the meeting. They wanted to know if there was. Drastically higher for a complex versus,
It's been explained to them
Yeah,
over and over.
okay,
Good question.
so when they. So when they do it. When they're paying sewer and water. As a fixed,
They have the base rate. So they don't have a meter for every single unit. So they have the base rate. And they get the standard 10,000 allotment
for the complex,
per with 120,000 for the complex. And yeah, they won't say where they're comparing to, but we have our rates, our base rates. So that's just how we do it in town.
part of that conversation was if there was. They wanted to do more development in this town, but they felt like the rate was. Inhibiting their progress.
yeah, we've been told because of our rates compared to Riverton or Lander, it's very, we're very progressive and they're rather developed here.
That's what I had thought as well.
Yeah, but everybody has, you know what I mean?
So it should be roughly the same versus, so a home. Is paying, whether it's a home or an apartment, everyone.
So there are 2-bedroom apartments, and so there's $75. Same with a single family home,
$75.
$75.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really, because it's based on a base rate. And then you have the 10,000 gallon leeway. Now, if you go over that, of course, you know.
If the structure went over, if it was a 10-unit structure and went over 100,000 gallons, then they would see a overall fee.
Yeah. 120,000.
120,000. Got it.
That's a lot of water.
There's a lot of water. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. That's all I have.
Oh, I forgot to ask a question. How is our process of the land transfer between the rec department and us? Is that gone through yet?
It's done, I think,
That is-
right?
The land transfer between the rec department and town?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's done, okay.
Yeah.
Is there any movement of land across the street on those 6 lots on Fifth Street?
We've had, we've had several inquiries, had one a couple weeks ago. And, I don't have any money in my hand. I haven't been made an offer to bring to the council. But I have had some inquiries. One person inquired and I see they bought some land elsewhere. One of the inquiries. But there was, I just had another one that I think was relatively serious.
Good.
The question, speaking of that, I got to spur me, our shop mover never came to move the darn shop. So about the time we still want to move it, correct?
Hate to see it go.
So that was the question, this last person was interested in, with including the shop, and I said, well, I think the shop may be getting moved, but I'm gonna call our we've only got one around here that moves.
Sell it, let's give them the shop.
Yeah, well, we only got one mover, in our area that does this type of stuff, and I don't know why. We even had a cement crew lined up to do the foundation, but the two needed to get together, make sure everything was gonna work. And the cement guy was waiting, but the building never showed up. So I can reach out again, but the last inquiry, they were interested in buying it with the shop.
Yeah, that's the way to go then.
Yeah.
Okay,
No problem with that.
okay, that's what I wanted to,
Either or.
I'm glad you reminded me, that's something I forgot to ask you.
That's just how it's gonna have to go. That's just how it's gonna have to
Right.
go.
Okay. So, good enough, I can report that back. That was right before I had my knee surgery. Anyway. Anything else? I'll touch just a little bit on the shooting range, not try to get too long. You got 2 bottles of oxygen? Yeah, we don't know. Anyway, we're all good, but no, so we're gonna have a April 2nd meeting, Zoom meeting. We'll listen in to see what they're going by. April 8th, we're supposed to get the request for proposals. In looking where I think I've already reported, we were the only one that really put out described a world-class facility. Nobody else had enough land. There again, they don't like all the federal land that we're looking at this on our sites in Fremont County. So we're still trying to work with that, trying to figure it out. We did reported that Sheridan was allowed to submit an application, even though they were a week late. Passed the deadline, and the task force allowed Sheridan to submit an application. So we'll see how that works out. So that means there was 9 applications accepted. Only 8 of them in a timely manner, but the 9th one they decided to look at, so.
So with the federal land part of that, I saw that article there in the county 10.
Right.
That already, BLM already said they'd go along with that, or?
No, well, there's a pathway forward.
I was
Now-
curious what would happen to the leases,
Huh?
like,
The leases would be negotiated with whoever has the current, like I said, there's a pathway. Leases would be negotiated with the current leaseholders. Same with state land.
Right.
Our one site was Bureau of Rec. That's a lot, can be a little more simpler. That pathway wouldn't probably go down through BLM and then, and our vision to state parks.
That'd be a little easier for the state then.
I mean, and the Bureau of Rec land, there's possibility of going to the BIA, and a lot of the people out there are really, the BIA has been removing, has the BLM have been removing ranchers from BLM and lowering their animal units down, having to reduce the size. BLM's been doing that. BIA has been doing the same thing also to native ranchers. That would not be a good thing to have that happen if they would close that down and do something similar. It's a lot of native ranchers have been reaching out or have been upset with how the BIA is treating them. So, so that could be a very good thing for everybody involved if the state parks would take over management of that for the ranchers, who most of them give a crap if there's a shooting facility out there,
Right.
But it could be a win-win for the ranchers and the shooting facility both, because that's a big area out there.
Yeah.
But in any event, either state leased land or federal leased land, the ranchers would have to come to agreement. They would have to be compensated. There'd have to be an agreement between everybody to make it work.
I just had some people ask about that.
Yeah, it would have to, I've talked with a rancher involved, in part of the proposed area, and we had a conversation, but everybody, it's gotta be worked out to an agreement. I mean, this is nothing that you just don't, you just don't kick them. I mean, it's gotta be a working agreement, and it's gotta be, and it can be part of me where you can have both parts. There's workable ways to do this that works well for everybody. But but everybody's conscious. That's why if it was all privately owned land with no leases,
Be a lot easier.
it'd be a lot easier. That's, Cheyenne has that, but they don't have enough land, but they have other issues. They just got a grant for a trail in that area. That doesn't work well. They have they had some, I don't know if they've ever been reclamated, but they had a missile silo leak years ago, and their water aquifer was contaminated. Didn't work well, maybe for drilling a water well to supply water there. There's issues. Same up above Cody, they have they're on a winter elk area.
Not a real good spot for a range, I don't think.
Probably not, and then they also, it's state lease land. Rancher that runs his Two Dot Ranch, runs all his cattle out there on that 5,000 acres. He has maybe concerns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's gotta be, you just can't say, just because it's state land, you just can't say we can do it. Even with state land, they still gotta work with their leaseholders and everybody else. The state does as BLM. Every site's got their own problems, just what's best for the state.
Right.
And we still really think the Fremont County site would bring in more tourist dollars, because we're not on this either. Cody up by Montana, a lot of money will go to Montana. Cheyenne, a lot of money will go to Colorado. Yeah, Gillette, a lot of money is going to go to South Dakota. South Dakota's already got a pretty nice regional range, not a world class. They got a nice range. Here we're far enough from all of those, and you got to travel through the state, spending money and staying here And I've stayed in Montana or Colorado or Utah, the Evanston, same thing. They highlighted their close to Salt Lake and they got all the amenities there. But they're spending all their money in Utah instead of Wyoming. And one of the reasons the state brought this economic development for the state. Right here in central Wyoming, we really do. Would be the best, but the state last that article, she did a pretty good article. I did, so the state's gotta hold their nose and deal with the federal land. Cause not, BLM hasn't been treating us well, but that would be. But I don't know where else they can get this much land, cause a world-class facility, we're talking 12,000 acres, and we're really gonna need that much. Depends how many disciplines you have, takes that much land. So, anyway, I talked longer than I want to, but that, anybody surprised?
Well, I egged you on apparently.
Okay, anyway, if no one has anything else, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion.
Been moved by Councilman Hartley, can I get a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Oh, we have a second? Second by Councilman Stella. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Both same. Motion passed, all in affirmative. We got a, what, about 8?
8:14.